Welcome to the Anjan and Anjan GT Extras video. Here we'll cover a few additional features and options. Use the menu to navigate to specific topics or simply watch the entire video. Using the Anjan and Anjan GT footprint. The best time to attach the footprint to your tent is before you go outdoors. Indoors, lay your tent out with the floor side up. Lay the footprint on top of the tent floor with logo side towards the floor. Attach the red toggles in the corners of the footprint to the rings on the Anjan or Anjan GT's outer tent. Note that the footprint only covers the area of the inner tent. You can leave the footprint attached when you pack the tent. Weather options. Alternative ways to pitch the Anjan and Anjan GT. In windy situations, we recommend pegging the vestibule into the wind first, then continuing with the usual tent pitching steps. Using the Anjan and Anjan GT outer tent separately. To use the Anjan or Anjan GT outer tent on its own, disconnect the inner tent's toggles from the outer tent's rings, starting at one of the inside corners. To make reattachment easier, leave one or two of the toggles in place and tack the inner tent into the corner. Using the outer tent on its own offers a good space for people to gather. The Anjan GT outer tent used on its own offers even more space for people and gear. Using the Anjan and Anjan GT inner tent separately. To use the inner tent separately, disconnect it from the outer tent. You will need 4 pole holders, which are available for purchase separately, and either both poles from your Anjan or one long pole and one short pole from your Anjan GT. You will also need 6 pegs and 2 lengths of guy line. You can use 2 guy lines from your tent, but we recommend that you bring extra. Lay the inner tent out and connect the pole holders to the 4 red toggles on the floor of the tent. Thread the short pole through the line of elastic loops at the back end of the inner tent. Put the pole end into the pole holder at the end of the loops. Holding on to the free pole holder, arch the pole and place the end of the pole into it. Repeat the process with a longer pole, which is marked with red tape, inserting it through the line of elastic loops at the front of the tent. Peg the back 2 corners of the tent. Remember to press the pegs in completely at about a 45-degree angle to the ground. Pull the tent taut and peg the front 2 corners of the tent. Attach one length of guy line about 3/4 of the way up the pole on one side of the tent. Pull the guy line out at a slight angle from the tent and peg it down. It's a good idea to create a loop at the end of the guy line using an adjustable knot, so you can adjust the guy lines as needed. Repeat the process on the other side. Using the optional Anjan mesh inner tent, The optional Anjan mesh inner tent can be used in place of the regular inner tent in either the Anjan or Anjan GT models. Simply remove the inner tent and button in the mesh inner tent in its place. To use the Anjan mesh inner tent separately, you will need one long and one short pole for the appropriate Anjan mesh inner you have. For more information about pole sizes, see our website. In addition to the poles, you will also need 6 pegs. The Anjan mesh inner tent comes with pole holders already attached to the corners, as well as 2 adjustable guide lines with line runners. Lay out the mesh inner tent and thread the short pole through the line of elastic loops at the back end of the mesh inner tent. Put the pole end into the pole holder at the end of the loops. Holding onto the free pole holder, arch the pole and place the end of the pole into it. Repeat the process with a longer pole, which is marked with red tape, inserting it through the line of elastic loops at the front of the mesh inner tent. Peg the back 2 corners of the mesh inner tent. Remember to press the pegs in completely at about a 45-degree angle to the ground. Pull the tent taut and peg the 2 front corners of the tent. Tie one of the guide lines about 3/4 of the way up the pole on one side of the tent. Pull the guide line out at a slight angle from the tent and peg it down. Repeat the process on the other side. You can also use an Anjan mesh inner tent with a Hilleberg tarp 10. This is an excellent combination for warm weather use, as the mesh inner provides fully ventilated bug protection and the tarp offers protection from rain or sun. Drape the tarp 10 over the Anjan mesh inner tent with the tarp's longer dimensions parallel to the sides of the mesh inner tent. Pull out and loosely peg all the guide lines, leaving the lines themselves fairly slack. Set a trekking pole so it's a little bit longer than the height of the Anjan mesh inner tent. Put the pole's tip into the ring in the tarp that is in front of the tent's door, then tighten the guide line. For easiest adjustment of the guide line, place the guide line loop behind the tip of the trekking pole and then adjust the line runner. Repeat with another trekking pole at the back of the tent. Tighten the other guide lines and adjust their peg points as needed to get the setup and coverage you want.